Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Walsh, and I am the Deputy Chair of the Board of Directors. Welcome to the Bellarine Community Health 2023 Annual General Meeting. I note that we have several people attending online via Teams. I would like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the lands of the Wadawurrung people and pay our respects to elders past and present. I also acknowledge the presence of any First Nations people. For your information, this meeting is being recorded so minutes can be transcribed accurately. A special welcome to our invited guests. Cassandra Gravenall, Associate Partner of Audit Crowe Australasia, Mayor Isabel Tolhurst and CEO Martin Gill from the Borough of Queenscliff, Mary Spencer from the Department of Families, Fairness and Housing, Rowena Clift and Janelle Jarkovenko from the Western Victoria Primary Health Network, Alice King and Simon Montgomery from Barwon Health. Formal apologies have been received from Senator Sarah Henderson, Alison Marchant, MP, Member for Bellarine, Mayor Trent Sullivan and Councillor Jim Mason from the City of Greater Geelong, Louise Galloway from the Department of Health, and Francis Diver from Barwon Health. BCH financial members Renee Chapman and Michael McAllister, and BCH Board Director Jean Paul. Also welcome my fellow directors, BCH staff and financial members who are in attendance. 2 proxies received by the cut-off time of 5 p.m. yesterday. No special resolutions or additional items of business were received by the cut-off date of the 16th of November. In accordance with the BCH Constitution, a quorum of 5 financial members in attendance. I can confirm that we have more than 5 financial members present. Please note that only financial members are eligible to vote. Questions relating to the financial statements will be taken following the presentation of that report, and there will be further opportunity for other questions during general business. For the benefit of the minute taker, should you have a question, please state your name and the organisation you may be representing. A couple of housekeeping rules. For those of you who are attending online via Teams, please mute your microphone unless you wish to raise a question at the appropriate time. If you'd like to ask a question during the question time or to vote when requested, please use the raise your hand option and unmute your microphone. Please note that the hand and microphone icons may appear at the bottom of your screen or may appear under the heading Reactions. If you're in the room, please raise your hand to ask a question at the appropriate time. The agenda for tonight's meeting, along with the minutes from the 2022 AGM, 22-23 financial reports and annual report were uploaded to the BCH website on the 20th of November. Are there any conflicts of interest to be declared? If so, please raise your hand and also unmute your microphone now if you're online. No, we've had no conflicts of interest to be declared. The next is the first item on the agenda is the appointment of board directors. Section 11.4.4.2 of the BCH Constitution states, the board may at any time directly appoint up to 4 directors for terms up to 3 years, and the period may be extended upon such terms as determined by the board. The terms of Board Director and Chair Faye Ekerhouse and Board Director Christina DeMasi were to expire at this AGM. The board resolved via circular resolution on the 30th of October 2023 to reappoint both Faye and Christina for a period of 3 years until the 2026 AGM. The board will meet immediately following this AGM to determine board office bearer positions for the next 12 months. As Faye was the chair of the board for the period that this AGM relates to, I now offer to Faye to chair the remainder of the meeting. So, Faye, thank you.
Thank you, Tim. The next item on the agenda is the confirmation of the 2022 Annual General Meeting minutes. These minutes have been made available on the BCH website. I move that the minutes of the Bellarine Community Health Annual General Meeting held on Wednesday, November 23, 2022, as distributed be confirmed. Is there a financial member who was present at that AGM 2022 that would like to second this motion? Please raise your hand, your yellow card, or unmute your microphone and state your name if you are going to be the seconder. Someone around the table? Thanks, Lucy. Could I ask all financial members to vote on this motion by raising their virtual hand if online or physically in the room? Kate's counting the votes. So I can therefore say the count has been confirmed and the motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. At this point of the meeting, I invite you to watch a short video presentation showing the best of BCH in 2022-23. So sit back and enjoy and watch this short presentation. Thanks, Lorraine. Just be patient, the joys of technology. Would you like me to go on with my speech while we solve this? For how many minutes? And that's why we are proud of being part of BCH and why we are BCH. So sit back and reflect about that. It's now my pleasure to present my board chair report for 2022-23. So it really is another year, another AGM, and most importantly, another set of stories to share about our organisation, BCH, about our board, our team and our communities, remembering that those communities also include our volunteers. Like every organisation, there are highs and there are lows. For BCH, that's also true, but we're now reaching a point where the highs are beginning to outpace and outweigh the lows. This year, BCH has innovated, advocated, supported, created new projects, brokered new partnerships, and celebrated the completion of projects. The Port Arlington refurbishment, and now in very real terms, beginning the Ocean Grove project. There's been much preliminary work happening in the background to get to this stage, and without a doubt, a sign on a site does signify that something is about to happen. It actually makes the planning real, and it also signposts to the community that it's happening. In talking about both these projects, it would be remiss to not acknowledge the funders, our staff, the amazing fundraising efforts of the Port Arlington auxiliary members, and in the case of the Ocean Grove project, the generosity and community spirit of the Corliss family who gifted the land to us. I've talked in the past at previous AGMs about the fact that we operate in this VUCA economy, an environment that's a world of volatility, of uncertainty, of complexity and ambiguity. It's the way of the world that we live in now, and perhaps more so post-COVID. We only have to reflect on the past few months or even the past few weeks as we listen to, the numbers of COVID cases arising and how that impacts on families. Change is constant and change is unpredictable, but we do the best with what we have and always strive to do better for our communities. And in saying that, our communities are our people, no matter where they come from, where they live, or what their socioeconomic background is. The role of the board is critical to the organisation, and even more so in times of change. Directorship is not just sitting around the table once a month and attending another meeting or two. Our role is to govern, to set the vision, to set the strategy, and to set the direction of the organisation. We have ultimate accountability for the delivery of safe and quality care. And at times, our main task is just to steady the ship. And we've done a lot of steadying over the past few years and are now ready as a board to take on a more strategic role. Most importantly, boards must question and communicate. Our membership needs to be reflective of our communities and the work of the organisation. In 2023, we've spent time developing our understanding of the aged care reform agenda and committed to undertaking a board review in 2024 to ensure that we continue to grow as a board that is professional and is skilled and is contemporary in terms of our knowledge base to take the organisation forward. Our board is made up of people, and I wish to thank my fellow directors for their support and hard work over the past 12 months. To my Deputy Chair, Tim Walsh, to our Treasurer, Rod Slattery, Rob James, Christina Damasi, Jean Paul, Lucy Sims, Mark Harris and John Lesser. We are the board, we work hard and we believe in the work of BCH. In closing, also a well-deserved thank you and acknowledgement of their work to Gary, our CEO, and the entire BCH executive team and staff, and also our volunteers. The BCH Annual Report 2023 is now available on the website, that is the BCH website. Please take the time to read it and join with us in celebrating the work that's been done in the past 12 months. Thank you. The Board Treasurer, Rod Slattery, will now present the 2022-23 financial report. There'll be questions at the end of his report. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you, Faye. This is my fourth AGM as Treasurer, and I'm pleased to report the strategy that the Board and the Executive team have been focusing on over the last 3 years is reaping rewards, and our goal of being financially sustainable as a community health business is getting closer despite many ongoing challenges. I'm now pleased to present the annual audited financial report for the year ended 30th of June 2023, which was recently signed off by our auditors, Crowe, and approved by the Victorian Auditor General's Office. The opinion confirmed the financial statements as giving a true and fair view of BCH's financial position and that we are complying with the charities and not-for-profits regulations. The auditor presented to the Finance Committee on 19 October and advised the audit accounts reflect our management accounts and there are no material adjustments. Provisions and disclosures are in order, and also importantly, our control environment is sound. If we just move on to the next slide, thanks. The operating result was a small deficit of 58,000, which on balance was a good result given the budget was a forecast deficit of $327,000. The pleasing aspect is we have continued the trend of recent years of stabilising the business and breaking even on an operational level. But there's still work to be done. If we just go to the next slide, just to demonstrate this table, which we call a waterfall table, highlights the movements in the key areas of the business from 1st July 2022 to 30th of June 2023, illustrating over that 12-month period a decline in operations of $143,000 over that 12-month period. The key observations on increase and decrease over the period, we continue to apply and receive various grants, excluding capital grants, to fund the business and fees for service, and some of that has grown. Wage costs have increased over the period with minimal change to our headcount. We've had a reduction in our non-recurring funding of 357, largely due to the dental initiative not continuing beyond FY22. And we have our focus, and we're pleased that we've grown our home care package services. As mentioned last year, over 70% of our expenditure relates to staff salaries, which is the most significant driver of the financial outcome. In essence, we must deliver good services at appropriate productivity rate to ensure the most efficient use of resources relating to funding levels. This is not always easy. Looking forward, as noted earlier, the ongoing challenge is to make BCH a financial, sustainable community health business. Whilst our FY24 budget depicts a surplus of 21,000, the board and management must continue to improve BCH's financial performance. Just have the next slide, please. Just moving to our stable financial position, or as a lot of us would know as the balance sheet of BCH. If we go down to the net asset position has improved by 2.8 million, going from 16.6 to 19.4 million over the 12 months. This is largely reflects the donated land Faye touched on, and also the renovation of the Port Arlington property that Faye also mentioned. The current ratio percentage, you'll see on the graph, the bar graph there, appears to have has dropped, and that largely is a significant amount of our investments, amounted around $6.9 million, has been allocated to non-current assets. The nature of these investments is such they're relatively easy to convert to cash. In reality, our cash, if we reverse that, in reality, our cash current ratio percentage is 1.24%, which is a healthy position. The increase of other liabilities, you'll note, from 2.8 to 5.1 million relate to the unspent capital grants on the Ocean Grove project, which we'll be calling on over the next 12 to 18 months. And more pleasing is also that we're holding surplus cash of approximately $2 million. If we can just go to the next question, next slide, please. I'd be happy to take any questions on the FY23 financial statements as presented. If I can ask people to raise their hand, or if online, raise your virtual hand and unmute your microphone. Okay, I don't think there's any questions virtually or in the room. I'll now put to members the motion, the auditor financial, if we just move the slide, sorry, Kate. You'd move the motion that the audited financial statements for BCH for the year ended 30th June 2023 be accepted. Can I have a second for this motion? Tim, thank you, Tim Walsh. Could I also ask all financial members to vote on this motion by raising their virtual hand or raising their hand if in the room? All good, motion carried. And now if we can just turn to the appointment of the auditor. As you're aware, BCH is required to be audited by Vargo, and Vargo has appointed an agent to conduct the audit on their behalf, and I'm pleased to advise that the agent will again be Crowe. So we look forward to working with them. And just in closing, I'd like to thank Kathy Russell and Dylan Button, who for the ongoing efforts in managing the financial affairs of BCH. The reports they provide to the Finance Committee and Board are comprehensive, and the support they provide to Gary and the management team is invaluable. So thanks to that team. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Rod. I'd now like to introduce Gary Ellis, CEO, to present the CEO's report. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Faye. We usually start these comments about the previous year and say it's been really difficult, and they always are. However, with BCH coming through the COVID pandemic relatively unscathed, this year's challenges didn't seem to be quite as bad. However, operating in the current economic environment is still really difficult. We have a growing population leading to growing demand for our services, but funding remains constrained. We adapt as well as we can to match our resources with demand, but our ability to fully deliver all that is required by our community is often limited. Given this environment, it's pleasing to report that the financial turnaround strategy implemented by the Board of Directors in 2020 has achieved significant success, and as Rod mentioned, our operating result was a small deficit of $58,000. The result's been achieved by continuing focus on productivity and achievement of funded targets. While adapting to this concept has not been without its challenges, our staff have responded positively with targets met consistently and client feedback reflecting the high quality of care delivered. We saw some major achievements in 22-23. We had successful outcomes in the NDIS mid-cycle review and accreditation under National Safety and Quality Primary and Community Healthcare Standards. BCH was amongst the first agency to undergo this review with positive results and great comments from the auditors. The redeveloped Port Arlington building was opened in April. This project allowed the restart of group programs at the site after a long absence. Clients are really enjoying the large light-filled space. And the Port Arlington Ladies Auxiliary has occupied a significantly larger space for the op shop, which was created as part of this project. And they tell me business is going really well. We publicly announced the donation of a block of land in Ocean Grove, donated by the Corliss family, the developers of the Kingston estate. This land will be the site of our new child, youth and family hub that will serve the Ballarat community as it continues to grow over the coming years. Without the support of the Corliss family and funding from the Commonwealth Government, the project could not proceed. We continue to be an active member of the Alliance of Rural and Regional Health, Community Health, which is known as ARCH, and Community Health First. These groups have been successful in raising the profile of community health as a major contributor to the overall health sector in Victoria. Several proposals have been put to government for new and innovative statewide services, and we are awaiting the outcome of these submissions. And we'll just run a very short video relating to ARCH. Thanks, Lorraine.
Community Health. It's quality, coordinated health services in every corner of Victoria. It's local understanding for localised care. It's experts in health and wellbeing services. It's leading initiatives that target the social determinants of health. And it's disaster and emergency recovery. Victoria needs community health. Community health prioritises support for people who need it most, embracing all Victorians and their beautiful diversity. It builds relationships and connections at all ages and life stages. We're in their homes, in the community, where they feel safe and respected. And we're building services to reduce social and economic pressures on the health system. Community health helps keep people out of hospital. With local knowledge from Sunraysia to East Gippsland, the Wimmera to Wodonga, Community Health tailors services to our communities and their unique needs. From the people we care for to the thousands we employ, Victoria needs Community Health.
Thanks, Lorraine. We look forward to some new challenges in the coming year, adapting to the aged care reforms, preparing for the changes to aged care service delivery and funding that are coming, and our continuing focus on quality service delivery. We sincerely thank our volunteers, staff, exec team and directors for their continued diligence, passion and commitment to providing services to our community. Each individual or collective action makes a positive difference. And working as a team, the outcomes are multiplied. We also thank and recognise our funders, including the state and Commonwealth governments, donors and philanthropists and other stakeholders and partners who make what we do possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. So at this time, I'd like to acknowledge the continued commitment, dedication and hard work of the BCH staff and volunteers over the past 12 months. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I commend the staff maintaining the very high standard of care and safety of our clients and the community. As you can see on the screen, a number of employees reached significant years of service milestones in 2022-23, with 2 employees reaching 25 years of service. Volunteers make an enormous contributions to the services we provide at BCH. Several volunteers also reached milestone years of volunteering with BCH in the 2022-23 year. 4 volunteers reached over 20 years of volunteering service. So I think they deserve a clap as well. I'll now open the floor for general business and any questions from members. If you have a question, can you please raise your hand? When called on, please unmute your microphone. If you're online, please state your name and if you're representing any particular organisation. Looks as though there aren't any questions. So in that being the case, I would like to formally bring this Ballerina Community Health Annual General Meeting to a close. Thank you for your attendance this evening. So if there are any other financial members, I'm just reminded that we're about to move into a board meeting. So we now have to move to that closed board meeting. So thank you for coming along tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you. Meeting closed.
Hello.